Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Terratech with me, Elathrix, and of course, welcome back to the R&D mode, where today we're going to be doing something a little bit silly. Well, normally we do things which are silly, but today I'm doing something which I don't even know if it's really going to work. Today, we're building a sled. We are building a sled craft, because in the previous video I mentioned that these landing gear seem to have little to no friction, and well, I've always wanted to make a craft in this game which relies completely on just regular propellers or thrusters and not wheels despite being a ground vehicle. And well, I think today we're going to have our chance. Now, this is likely to be quite a simple build, honestly. I just want to see if it's going to work. I will be building the hover build very soon, the combat hover, which is going to be far more complex. But today, we're just going to chill, and we're going to see if this actually works. So the first question is this: do we go with the larger skis or do we go with the smaller skis? And yes, I will be calling them skis for the rest of the video rather than landing gear. Although I'd like to see if we can jump off a ramp and perhaps get enough airtime that these do indeed go back into themselves. But until then, what are we going to go with? I think with the larger variants, it would allow us to build underneath, which would be kind of cool, as in we could have the armor blocks go down, and I think that would have quite a nice effect, because we could sort of bury these within the craft itself. Whereas the smaller variants, we could do that, but then we're more likely to hit things and cause damage to the skis or to our blocks. Maybe the middle ground would be the best. Sometimes moderation is the best policy. Yeah, I think that actually is the best option. Just to prove it actually works, it certainly does. Okay! We might need gyroscopes. No, it's okay, we won't need gyroscopes, we just need to remember that center of mass is a thing. And the lack of friction is... yeah, that lack of friction is going to be very difficult to work with. Of course it has some friction, otherwise we'd be going much faster, but... especially when it comes to turning, it's so easy for it to just tip over. Yep, we are going to really have to work on that. So here's something. I've had to flip around all of these skis so they're this way around, and honestly that begs the question, which way are they meant to go anyway? Since I kind of don't see a problem with them going either way, but the default way is the opposite of what we currently have. And the reason I've had to do this is because this side seems to interact more with terrain than this side, and that was taking damage every time I tried a ramp, even at medium speeds. Now at much greater speeds, yep, that's fine. Lovely. Lands without damage, absolutely perfect. So now we can just build up from here. Certainly not difficult to get some serious speed with this thing. Now, I did just take this into the creative mode very briefly, and I've got to say, it does handle terrain very well. However, and it's a very big however, these skis take damage from everything. If they even slightly touch something to the left or the right, or you land slightly badly, they will take damage. So this is definitely a craft which, not surprisingly, is better on more open terrain. Not too bad to control though. It can get out of hand very easily if you're not paying attention, but yeah, it's fine. Okay, so let's make this thing look a bit better. I'm thinking about making it a bit longer, honestly, and then armoring up the sides. Just to make it look a bit more sturdy than it currently is, and less framework. Now, one negative is trying to get this thing to stop is very, very difficult, as you can imagine. So, what we could do is remove the thrusters, and instead use shift as a bit of a braking system. No, that's nowhere near as fun as just extra speed. Nope, never mind. It was a good idea in my head, maybe it would have worked, but no, I think I would much rather have the excess speed. Oh. Hi, enemies. Bye, enemies. I'm now actually leaning far more towards a smaller variant. Maybe not quite this small, but definitely a closer to the ground version. With the larger skis, it just feels like we're adding way too much weight by just adding the skis themselves. This, despite having way less thrust, is going around about the same speed. We could easily make this a lot faster if we so desired. So let's work around this. Not bad at all. And with the increased weight on the front and back, controlling it isn't too bad, at least for small turns. And for quick turns as well. Let's do a full... Okay, and... Yep, there we are, going the opposite way. I think this is going to struggle with the racetracks, though. Definitely. But it feels way better to use than the larger version. Far, far better. It also looks faster because it's smaller, which is a nice touch as well. Needs more work done to it, though. Right now, it still looks a bit stuck together. But we are getting there, definitely. Definitely liking this. Probably not the intended use of these items, but I think definitely one of the more fun uses. Yeah, hills are not going to be this thing's friend. Also, I figured out that the AI cannot use these to save its life. It can try. It can try. Now, I have also been messing around with spoilers, and honestly, they don't seem to work as intended with the skis. They just cause more issues than they seem to solve. In theory, that would be great, adding a bit of downwards force, but sadly, that doesn't quite work out like that. Hello, enemies! Worth it. Just testing something out. Well, it makes a pretty good hit-and-run craft. Who would have thought? That is actually a lot of fun. Well, that is really annoying for any enemy, I've got to say. Are you still alive? Just about. And goodbye, you are gone. Oh, hello. Did I turn you an enemy earlier? Yes, I did. Okay, hello. Goodbye. Oh, no, it's chasing after me, kind of. I think something broke off it. Oh, it's fast, too. Of course, the AI can't quite use it properly, but still. And there we go. A fitting end. I'm keeping the missiles, I've decided. So, I really wanted to move away from the missiles. I tested out all sorts of different weapons, but just nothing tracks fast enough to deal with this type of build. It's missiles or weaponless. That's really the option set we have here. Maybe mortars at a stretch, but that is definitely a stretch. Well, it makes me faster when I'm not using the thrusters, but slower when I am. That's interesting. So 154, 211. 145, 209. Never mind, I am wrong. Good. It's always good when you're wrong in a way that actually speeds up your vehicle. I'm still really happy with the control of this thing. I think we're quite close, because I don't know what else I really want to do, honestly. How about a defensive weapon? Like laying mines down for anyone trying to follow us. That's actually a lot of fun. I don't know how useful this will really be in Terratech, but still. Just explosives everywhere. Slide. So I've decided I didn't like how this back section looked at all. The more I tried to work with it, the less I seemed to like it. So instead, let's go with something a little bit different. How about if we add a little bit of a raise here, which then goes off to the sides and then stays raised all the way towards the back, maybe increasing a little bit at the very, very end. Then if we still want missiles, we can just add them to the center or add them at the back in a sort of protected cove area. I'm not too sure. But let's see how this turns out. Not too sure. I just feel like there's not much else I can really do to the shape of this thing whilst keeping it with the same idea. Either way, let's give it a go. Yeah, I definitely prefer the top section sort of coming out a little bit further like this. Maybe not quite as much, but something like this. And then, if we still have the back section, the flares, it won't be quite as pronounced, and I don't think it'll look quite as jarring to look at. That's the idea, anyway. Okay, so, of course, problem with wings is not only do they help with turning, they also provide a lot of lift. Oh, look, he's taking his first steps. This is not going to work out, but let's give it a shot anyway. So the problem is, turning with this thing is good, in fact it's fine, but it's not precise. Because we have such low friction, and because our turning is mostly coming from the regular propulsion propellers, well, the ion drives anyway, it's not particularly accurate, and getting a sharp turn is just going to send us further forwards. So, try one. I imagine there's going to be multiple tries to get this done. Okay, yep, there's the issue, and well, I need some more practice with drifting, apparently. Try two. Once again, I need to be so much more careful with the turns. Because it feels like the turn isn't going to happen, but then after a while, it then happens. It's almost delayed. And that lack of feedback, there we go. That lack of feedback is so jarring for someone who normally just uses wheels. Nope, shouldn't have done that, should not have done that. That is going to really throw me off. Okay, need to stop here. In reverse, that's right, we're doing the rest in reverse. Darn it, getting better though. I really, really wish that spoilers would work with this craft. Trust me, I've tried all of them in the game, and they just seem to cause more issues than they solve. I don't know quite why that is, because in theory they should work. These downwards thrusters definitely work, but for some reason, they just don't end up helping. Well, let's ignore that. Oh, although it is causing me to slowly tilt to the left now by default, which is not helpful. There we go. I'll slow down because it's going to be horrendous regardless what I do. There we are. It really does feel like being on ice. Oversteering and understeering is such huge problems. No! Oh, no! So, this will be try number 5. I've been just driving around aimlessly for a moment to sort of get with the style of this control, and it feels fine. It feels like I'm doing an absolutely okay job. But then as soon as it goes to one of these racetracks, it's a completely different story, because I keep on overcorrecting when we turn to the left, and I'm going a little bit to the left. I try to turn to the right, but then because of the delayed turning, I then end up putting so much force into turning right, I just completely lose control, and it happens again and again and again. It really does feel like driving on ice. So this is number 5, and I can't imagine it's going to go well, but let's see if I've got any better at all. Turns like that are okay. It's turns like this coming up, and even that one then. Had to slow down way too much there, and there we go. Already losing control, but we're just going to hang in there. Just need to learn to drift, something I'm not particularly good at in games like this. Oh, no, here we go, losing control again. That turn is so horrific, and we're going so slow, it hardly feels like a race anymore. No, we've lost control completely. Yeah, at the slower speeds as well, it's actually worse, so the fact I've got so slow now is making it harder to recover, but there we go, we hit some wings on the floor. That was terrible. That was so bad. I am not proud of that in the slightest. But at least we got there. Just as soon as you lose speed, every little turn becomes so much more pronounced. So, learning to drift is definitely a thing I need to do, but apparently I don't have enough time right now. I just looked at the time and it's currently 2 AM. This was a little extra fun video I decided to record today because I really wanted to see if this would work. And hopefully it's been fun for you as well. It certainly has for me, even with a little bit of frustration there at the end. So if you have enjoyed today's video, then of course, likes, favourite, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Terratech is a series you wish to see continued in the future. For just an hour and a half worth of building, I think we've done okay, and certainly, we've tested out these as skis. Definitely viable. More builds like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. A little bit extra here, I just realised I said an hour and a half, and after looking at the time saying it's past 2 AM, that means I've actually been playing for almost 4 hours. I'm not good at time management, I'm meant to be doing other things right now.